Hello F1 fans! Welcome back to the F1 Masters podcast brought to you by AUBG Daily. As usual, David, Harry, me, and today we'll do one of our favorite activities before the season, predictions. We'll predict both the drivers and team standings, and also you'll hear our top 3 for the Australian Grand Prix and one bold prediction for the season. And I think we can jump directly for 22nd. It is a bit strange to talk about 22nd place and 11 teams, but still we'll adapt new regulations, new team. So 22nd I can start, and I would be surprised if you don't have that person last, and I think that would be Lance Stroll.
Yeah, I've said it before as well, but this time it sounds more believable because the car looks awful. So, yeah.
Well, I haven't gone with Lance Stroll. I went with Valtteri Bottas.
Interesting pick. I've actually had him for 21st because I think that Cadillac will also be at the bottom.
I also have Valtteri Bottas for 21st.
I have Arvid Lindblad at 21st.
I have Arvid Lindblad at 20th.
I have him at 19th because I think that Sergio Perez will be 20th.
I also have Sergio Perez at 20th.
And I have Sergio Perez at 19th, so
You
I
both
get-
have Perez at 19th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where Lance Stroll comes in for me. I have him 19th.
well, it depends on the season, but
Mm.
from what we saw from testing, I think that Aston Martin are looking really bad, and Lance Stroll, I don't think he will, just that he will do it.
I can get more into it in the constructors standings, but my vision for Aston Martin is, although they definitely by far had the worst testing, I think they have better potential to develop over the course of the season compared to teams like Cadillac.
Yeah, definitely. That was my thinking as well, but I just don't trust Lance Stroll at this point.
Yes, but I feel like he always has these random results where he finishes like 7th with no explanation.
Well,
And
but
he
it-
just gets points.
I don't know that they usually come at the beginning of the season, and I think that in the latter part of the season, in the last 10 races, I think that Stroll just won't be anywhere near the top 10. And I think something important that we have to clarify is that now there are not 20 drivers but 22, and he has to fight with 11 other people for even a spot in the top 10, and I think that is what would make the difference.
I agree. So moving on to 18th, because as I said 19th, I have Arvid Lindblad. I think he will have a good season, like for a rookie. It won't be bad, but like there are better drivers definitely than him. 18th, Fernando Alonso, because as we said, like Aston Martin's deficit is huge, and even though he is, like as we know, a great driver, it will be tough for him.
My 18th is Liam Lawson. I think he'll beat Arvid Lindblad, and I just think it's weird that Racing Bulls, I think they're like a consistent team, like 7th, 8th usually, they always finish, but I think that there are a lot of teams that have much bigger budgets than them, especially this year, and I think we'll be able to develop much more than them, so that's why I have them so low. But Liam Lawson, I think his experience will overshadow Arvid Lindblad, so he'll be able to get the better of him.
Yeah, similar thinking for me. 18th, I don't think that Lawson would reach the heights of Alex Albon or Pierre Gasly that they had in AlphaTauri, but I still think that he would be over Arvid Lindblad, but not that much, because if somebody of the level of Albon or Gasly was driving that car, I would push him like 2-3 positions further, but still think Lawson 18th, it won't be half bad. And for 17th, I have Fernando Alonso.
I have Gabriel Bortoleto.
Oh wow, okay. I have Alex Albon at 17th.
The belief in Williams is gone. I
But the
assume.
Williams, they were unprepared for testing and they're still overweight, and I think they will actually struggle a lot with development this year. So they did not really give me a lot of promise out of this testing. And I know it's only testing, but I don't see them developing as good as other teams. They were actually quite awful with development last year as well. So I don't really see a lot of potential in them for this year.
However, I think that the Mercedes engine would do its job, and the development I think also would not be the best, but I think they would figure it out at some point of the season, and the season won't be the best, won't be what was expected from them, but I still think that they won't be near the bottom feeders.
Yes, but we have to keep in mind that one of their main competitors also has a Mercedes engine now, so.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
17th, did you say 17th?
Fernando Alonso.
Fernando
Yeah.
Alonso.
Okay. 16th, I have Franco Colapinto.
16th, I have Fernando Alonso.
Interesting.
At 16th, I have Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay. Wait, so you have Hulkenberg behind Bortoleto?
Yeah.
Yes,
Whoa.
and on 15th is Bortoleto actually.
Okay.
I expect them to be pretty close throughout the season, but I feel like last season I was on the hype train for Gabi Bortoleto, and we've seen some glimpses, and I think that during the season he would get that car giving him like the performance that he wants, and like during the later parts of the season, I think that Bortoleto would be the guy that would be taking better results than Hülkenberg, and that would be like his statement. He would be like, yeah, I'm a guy that is worthy of a better team.
Okay. In 15th, I have Carlos Sainz as the lead Williams.
I have Nico Hülkenberg because I think this will be Audi's capabilities for this year.
Yeah, 15th, as I said, Bortoleto, and moving on to 14th.
14th, I have Franco Colapinto.
Interesting. I actually put him lower. I don't believe that much in his ability. I have Liam Lawson. I think he'll have a pretty good season.
Okay.
Liam Lawson at 14th.
Yes.
Yeah. I have Franco Colapinto as well at 14th, so I feel like the Alpine will be good. Actually, from what we've seen from
He also had decent
Mercedes.
pace in testing, I feel like.
I just feel like he's not on the needed level. That is the thing, and also he's very crash prone, incident prone, and that would be the issue, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
13th place, I have Esteban Ocon.
Same for me.
Okay.
I have Alex Albon actually.
Was this your first Williams driver?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I haven't mentioned any yet, so.
You guys are high on Williams, okay.
Yeah.
I think as we
Were you not
talking,
concerned that they were not even ready for Barcelona?
But I think that from what we've seen in Bahrain, that probably that time during Barcelona practices was needed. But at the same time, if they went to Barcelona and they were super unprepared, they would have probably looked more like Aston Martin.
Yeah.
And now they look like a midfield team, a bit below midfield. But I think throughout the season, they would get like how their car works, and also not to like underrate their drivers. I think in the midfield they have the most quality in drivers.
I agree there, yeah.
Yes.
They do.
That's why I also have them above like drivers such as Esteban Ocon. Like this is my logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
12th place,
I have Alex Albon.
Alex Albon. I have Gabriel Bortoleto.
Wow, that's some high hopes for Gavi there.
That is interesting, and high hopes for Audi as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first season, yeah, they're not brand new team as Cadillac, but like there are still a lot of things to figure out in that team.
Well, I think that Audi, they've prepared much longer than Cadillac, and also they are not reliant on another engine manufacturer. They control the development of their own engine, which I think is a big advantage for them in the long run of the season. I think going into the season, like they don't look like a really strong team at the moment, although I think they look better than Cadillac, obviously.
And Aston Martin.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think that they have a much better team, a lot of experienced people in their staff. Whereas in Cadillac, I mean, they have experienced drivers, but I think the whole core of the team, it's a brand new team. At least Audi are inheriting this infrastructure from Sauber, so I think that that's a big advantage for them.
Yeah, and they also have a couple of drivers who have already been tested as a team, and I think it has worked out pretty well last season. So I think that Gabi would have even better season, and Nico would do just Nico things, and he would like help developing the car, and he would deliver.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
12th place for you?
12th place, I have Esteban Ocon.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. We all actually have Haas pretty high here. I feel like
Let's see it
it's-
entering the top 10. Like,
Well, but it was about time, in my opinion, with Haas, because they have been in. This is their 10th year in the sport.
I think 11th.
11th?
Yeah, because 2016 was their debut. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually,
Yeah.
11th.
Yeah.
But still, and they have actually been there. They had some great moments. They had some pretty low moments, especially during that Mazepin Schumacher lineup. But I think they're starting to figure it out, and they won't be that last or second to last place team. I feel like if they manage to nail the regulations and Ferrari as a solid and reliable engine, we can see Haas to be in the row of, I don't know, the new Williams or something like
Which-
that. To be fifth, sixth, seventh during the season.
And it looks like Ferrari will have a good engine, so I think. And Haas also looked pretty good in tests. And I think Ayo Komatsu is doing a fantastic job ever since he got there. They've been going up and up, so
Yeah.
props to them. In 11th now, or in 11th, I have Nico Hulkenberg, so I have the two Audis 11th and 12th.
I have Carlos Sainz, so I have Williams 11th and 12th.
Okay,
I also have Carlos Sainz at 11th.
okay.
And
So,
entering top
entering
10.
the top 10, maybe we can go more into detail now.
Yeah.
In 10th, I have Isaac Hadjar.
Same for me. I just don't believe in the second Red Bull driver, anymore.
Yeah, I understand your thinking. I have Oli Berman just because I think that Oli Berman, this would be an amazing season for him. I just feel like it. It was a statement season last time, and Haas are, as we said, the car is looking pretty nice, and he would battle for that, for like the future Ferrari spot, because he's in pole position for that right now. And I think he may have something like, or at least close to Charles Leclerc-ish season when he was in Alfa Romeo. But I think 10th for Oli Berman, I think it is still pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think the bare minimum is him aiming to beat his teammate, which he did last year actually, so I see no reason for him not to do it.
The bare minimum for Berman.
Yeah, but Isaac Hadjar, just about him, I love Isaac Hadjar. It's just like, it's so hard to compete against Max Verstappen, and we've seen in the past. And I think this is actually I don't know, I feel like if I predicted him like 8th, even though, because I think the top 4 teams are much clearer compared to the rest of the teams. You just never know with that second Red Bull seat, and we don't really have any evidence to prove that he will be able to get into the top 8, which is why I've gone a little bit more pessimistic with putting him 10th. Will that be enough to keep his seat? Tough to say, but I don't really think they'll have anyone ready to replace him. So I think bare minimum he should drive the whole season, and I think he
Yes.
will. I think he will.
He will definitely drive the whole season. Only if I don't know if Lindblad, if he wins the first 3 races, which is like, if Arvin Lindblad wins the first 3 races, you've heard it here first.
This
But
is the man. who
Isaac
said-
Hadjar needs to be like getting into Q3s though. This is probably the main target for him, I think.
And also like to achieve some good points. I don't know, like even try for a podium, some race. Like P4, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I think that it won't be as bad as Lawson and Tsunoda, and I think the new regulations would actually serve him. Like it would work better for him, but still I feel like he would be pretty far away from Verstappen, and that is why I actually have him at 9th. Isaac Hadjar
Okay.
at 9th.
Oh, you
At
have
9th,
okay.
I have Pierre Gasly, the forgotten king of the midfield. He will be back this year. Alpine look good. They have a Mercedes engine, and Gasly, I think he'll be back to his like not prime, but he'll just deliver. I think when he has the machinery, he will be there. He'll constantly fight for points.
I also have Pierre Gasly at 9th. I feel like on this podcast we're such Pierre Gasly glazers every time. Even though like last year the Alpine was terrible, and I think Pierre Gasly is still a fantastic driver, and I think the Alpine has looked much better. I think the Mercedes engine makes a significant difference for Alpine, and I think they have the resources to develop the car in such a way that I think Gasly can definitely manage top 10 and potentially maybe some top 5 finishes here and there would be nice for them.
Yeah, I have Pierre Gasly at 8 because I feel like he can be the new king of the midfield, and he already He has some podiums under his belt. He has a race win, that Monza race, amazing, and that is why I think that is his team because Franco Colapinto would be far away from him. He has the car, he has the engine, and I think that this would be his greatest season so far. And I hope so actually because I really like
Better than
Pierre
his
Gasly.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah,
days.
21, 2020. It will be better than that.
Well, I think 8th place and probably potential for a few podiums here and there. I think that it would be considered a great season.
He's also historically great in qualifying, and I
Yeah.
think that this can be a big factor this
Yeah.
season. He was getting Q3s last year.
Yeah,
That car was just terrible in the race, but I think this car now he has potential to keep these positions during the race.
we would frequently see him in Q3, and I think that he may even push for like 7th, 8th place during qualifying, and I think that it would be like really good year for Pierre.
In 8th, you have Pierre Gasly. I have Ollie Behrman. You also have Ollie?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Ollie Behrman is going to be incredible this year. I think he will have a breakout year. We'll get some really good results, and I think this like Haas team, even though I was actually concerned about like development because they don't have the budget of the other teams, but I think Ollie Behrman, he showed last year like he is so good. He's actually really good, and I think that best of the rest is not absolutely far-fetched for him whatsoever, and I think Haas might end up having like one of their best seasons in history this year, and Ollie Behrman will be a main impact from that.
Well, I also hope for Haas to have like that much wanted first podium for the team, and it would be incredible if Ollie Behrman can deliver it.
I actually agree with what David said. I don't have anything to add. Yes.
Now, this is where it gets who is
interesting.
the top 7, the worst of the best.
Okay, who is it for you?
Alright,
I think
I
there will be
will-
no surprise, right?
really, because
Yeah.
No, not
mine
really
is
sure.
somewhat controversial.
Who is it?
My 7th place is the reigning world champion, Lando Norris.
Wow. Who is it for you?
It is the 7-time world champion Lewis
Same
Hamilton.
for me, honestly. I'm a
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton fan, but yes, I
Okay.
feel like, yeah.
Okay,
Please explain yourself.
Sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, like, this was very hard, right? The top 7. I think McLaren, like, they've been incredible the last few years, but I think that these regulations, like, they are totally dependent on Mercedes, and I think Mercedes have managed to build a car around their engine, considering the fact that they developed the engine. McLaren are kind of working with what they're given at the end of the day. And like they're not a bad team whatsoever. I think they'll definitely compete for wins and podiums like on a regular basis. But I think Lando Norris will have somewhat of a championship hangover, if I may say. Like he might, because he did just achieve his dream. Now there's a lot of pressure on him, right, to stay on top, and I feel like that hunger maybe it'll fall a little. I think Oscar Piastri will do better than him this season, and I see Mercedes and Ferrari, like these two teams, I think have shown so far that they are the teams to beat, and Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen. So
Obviously.
this, and like based on a process of elimination, and like when it comes to Lewis Hamilton, I think he has looked better so far compared to last year, and he seems more optimistic. And I actually like fanboy aside of like Ferrari, I think the Ferrari just outright looks better than the McLaren right now.
Well, I completely agree actually with all that you said. My only point for Lewis Hamilton is that he made some statements that he actually is not that bad, and even like the previous season was pretty bad, but right now things are not looking that bad, and he's getting that passion for the sport again, and so on and so forth. But I think that in the position that he is, Ferrari are probably not going to be the best team. They would have great car, but they're not going to be the best team. Also, Hamilton would play second fiddle to Charles Leclerc. I think that is for sure. And when you combine all that with couple of mistakes and really poor qualifying sessions that we have seen from Lewis last season, I feel like 7th is just about like where he should be.
Yeah, I think he'll be close to the McLarens. Really, it may like turn out in the way that David said. Things are gonna happen, but I think for sure he will get a Ferrari podium this year. I feel like with this car he will, but it's just it's going to be really interesting to see if he will outperform Piastri and Norris in terms of points. But moving on to Piastri and Norris and the others, 6th place I have Oscar Piastri.
I have Lando Norris.
I have Oscar Piastri as well.
So I'm the only one who thinks that Oscar will be behind Lando. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do
That's
you want to
interesting.
explain your reasoning, I guess?
Well, yeah, I completely get the championship hangover thing. I think it will be very tight between the two of them, like last season, and maybe this will be the make or break season for Oscar. If he manages to outperform Lando, he will show that he can do it in equal machinery. Unlike last year, especially at the end of the season, we saw that his let's say mental stability just disappeared. So if he manages this year, yeah.
I feel like the fact, because at least I don't see them, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see McLaren being in the championship fight. So
No.
I feel like that lack of pressure on Piastri will cause him to perform better and make
He'll
less mistakes.
unlock his potential. You mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because last year when he was leading the championship, we had races like Baku, and then he had a bunch of races where he was way off pace of Norris. So I think races like this will not really happen this year when he's not in the championship fight. I still haven't it's just one place difference. I think they'll be close because Lando is still a great driver, but I think Oscar this year will just have a slight edge over him.
Yeah, but I completely agree with that one. And Oscar right now is more experienced than the last season, and he would be really hungry, I think, to show that he's not a bottler and that he can do it. He just needs he needed that experience. He needed some more time in that car, and that is why I think he would outperform Lando Norris during this season.
Okay.
Top 5 now. In 5th place, I have Lewis Hamilton.
In 5th place, I have Kimi Antonelli.
I have Lando Norris. So I'm not gonna
Okay.
explain myself. I already said about Oscar and Lando. So your turn, guys.
Okay, I mean, I guess if you want, you can talk about Kimi Antonelli since you're the first person to mention him, actually.
Yeah.
So you have him the
Thanks.
lowest out of all of us.
Yeah, to mention Mercedes at all, because they seem
But
that
so you have Antonelli behind Oscar Piastri?
yes,
Okay,
That's
alright.
interesting.
Okay.
because I like Antonelli. I just think that he's still a raw talent, and that is why I think that this year it won't be bad actually for him to finish 5th and to drive a pretty fast car. And I think that he still needs, because of his youth, he still needs 1 or 2 seasons to develop that talent and to start to compete regularly for wins and to be 2nd, 3rd on the podium. And that is why I think that we will see glimpses of that greatness in him, but I also expect him to have at least 3 or 4 races throughout the season where he would be either off pace or he would do something a bit stupid that would cause some chaos and probably even finish his race early. And that is why I feel like 5th is just about right for him.
But you don't think that Mercedes advantage will put him ahead of Piastri?
Not really, because Mercedes, I feel like they would be the best team going into the season, but I don't see it as it's not 2014. The differences are not that big, and he's stepping against the best of the best, and he has 7 or 8 drivers that can be better than him on a certain weekend. So that is why I think that the car would be important, but at the same time I don't think that it would be as decisive as we have seen it in the past.
Okay, Well, speaking of Kimi Antonelli, I guess I have him fourth place.
Same for me.
I was actually very close to putting him like even higher, but as you mentioned, I think some mistakes will creep in. Although I think he'll be much better this year than last year, and I think those mistakes will just bump him down slightly. But I think he'll have like really good pace. Although I think he was quite inconsistent in qualifying last year, he showed like he can, like in Miami for example, he got pole position in the sprint. I think we'll see a couple pole positions from him this year, absolutely. Fighting for wins, definitely. And yeah, I think he'll be a regular challenger. I don't think he'll have the consistency to compete for the championship, but this is, the next generation superstar driver, and I think this will be a key season for him as a breakout driver. It'll be tough, I think, to compete with George Russell and his experience, really, but I think he can definitely challenge for a lot of good results, which is why, I was gonna put him higher, but due to inconsistency concerns, I put him fourth.
And I just want to make a remark on this. I think that Kimi actually is in a really great position because he's super young, super young. And at the same time, he would be given probably the best car on the grid, but without any expectations for winning the title. So I think that would work pretty well for him, and it would give him like a pretty solid base to build on in the upcoming few seasons.
Yeah, this is, I think, similar to when Max Verstappen got into Red Bull. Like, there weren't like expectations of him like to beat Daniel Ricciardo in the championship, for example, but this was a car that gave him opportunity to develop as a driver and compete at the front of the field. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for Antonelli to further develop that.
Also, Lewis Hamilton in McLaren, when he entered in 2007, he had the best car and like he dived into a championship fight with Fernando Alonso. But here as well, I think also Kimi is really young. He will adapt easily to the new regulations compared to drivers who have had like 4 generations of different cars, like Fernando Alonso, for example. So this will be a big bonus for him, and like big learning curve like this year is gonna be crucial for him.
Who do you have in fourth place?
Who is it for you?
Oscar Piastri.
Oh, okay.
Wow, so you're pretty high on Oscar this year.
Yeah, I think that would be much better year for him, and as I mentioned, he's more experienced.
Even though he finished 13 points from the championship the year before.
Yeah.
But still, I think he would at some point of the season, people would see him as the lead driver in McLaren, and I feel like he would definitely be in contention for a win or 2 or even 3 throughout the season. So I feel like Piastri would be pretty high, and that would be the season that he's like, yes, this is my team. I'm a really good driver, and like I can compete.
Okay, top 3.
Top 3.
Who do we start with?
Okay, I'll start. In third place, I have Max Verstappen.
Actually, the same for me.
The same for me.
Wow, I actually changed this like mid podcast.
Wow.
I had him higher, but I dropped him just lower. I still think top 3 because he's Max Verstappen, and I think especially after last season, like I'm convinced like he is racing god. But I have concerns with the Ford engine. I think they'll struggle with some reliability issues, and as I mentioned earlier, like I think the Mercedes and the Ferrari are just much better developed. I think Red Bull, I think they'll be good for sure. They'll be competing, but I think they still have further things they need to develop before they can reach the top of the championship. But Max Verstappen, I think, will compensate for this, because I don't really think Red Bull will have a better car than McLaren, for example, but I think Max Verstappen's level will elevate him above those drivers.
Yeah, similar things, and I feel like actually Ford have done a better job than I expected with the engine, and I feel like with further development in a year or 2, Red Bull may have like the best car, or definitely be in contention for wins. And I feel like this season would definitely, I think, would see a win, probably more than 1 win for Verstappen. But it's just that I feel like that car may have some issues, which is why I've put Max Verstappen in third. And I don't know. I feel like every time I say that, and we would go to Australia, and both Ferraris would be DNF, and all of us would be like, oh no, they fooled us again.
We'll see this year. But moving into the top two, do we say the first or the second place first?
We all have the same
I
top
feel
two.
like
I just
yes,
realized.
I feel like
Okay.
we have the same top two.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say on like three. Like who is our world champion?
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
George Russell.
Wow, I didn't expect everybody to agree on this
And
one.
Charles Leclerc is
Is
second
second,
for
yeah,
all of
obviously.
us. Okay. Do you
Okay.
guys want to explain really your reasoning? Because I mean, there's still the factor of the regulations and how they might change. There's a lot
Yes.
of protests against Mercedes engine, and like there is concerns with that. But I still think like the Mercedes is definitely the best car. I would say their only disadvantage against Ferrari is the starts. Because Ferrari showed how they are actually the most prepared for these regulations. It's just Mercedes found a loophole in the system. But yeah, they're the most prepared, and I think George Russell elevates himself every year better and better. That I think it's his title really to gain, and I think that the level he's shown throughout these past years, it's only I think natural that he becomes the world champion this year, and I think his level will be very high.
Yeah, the only issue that I see with George Russell is that he would be put under immense pressure because, like, I feel like more than 70 or 80% of the F1 fans and of the F1 community sees that he's the favorite for the title. He's the guy to beat during this season, and I feel like, however, I feel like I have seen enough of him being calm, being there when he has to deliver, and that is why I feel like it would be pretty dominant display, and he would win the world championship. And I feel like it is more debatable in my head whether Verstappen or Leclerc would be second rather than whether George or any other driver would be first.
Yeah, I'm like skeptical if there will even be a championship battle at the end of the day. This is why I was even thinking like Antonelli might be second potentially because I think the Mercedes will be really good, and I think the other teams might trip over themselves and lose a lot of points. But I guess about Charles Leclerc, I actually didn't expect either of you to put Charles Leclerc this high, probably because of I think I'm Ferrari copiuming right now, but Charles Leclerc was the fastest in testing, and Ferrari I think showed like one of their best cars in years. Like very impressive test. I cannot even like say anything else. And I think Charles Leclerc looks really good. It's definitely his team. I think he'll dominate Lewis Hamilton. I think even if he finishes second, although I think in considering the previous years, this is a fantastic result, he will still be extremely disappointed with this. But I don't see him competing with George Russell, and it's tough competition, you know, at the top of the sport. But I think Charles Leclerc will remind us, why he is still like one of the best drivers on the grid.
Yeah, both of them are in their prime, and also Max Verstappen. So imagine like if we have a freeway championship fight between these three. it
All
would
of
be
these
like-
drivers
Most
really.
probably not.
I know that it won't happen probably, but
Piastri and Norris also in their primes, so
yeah, but the thing is with machinery, like the McLaren, I think is not gonna beat that.
I don't think it'll be that far off. I think they've also proven in the past they're great with upgrades. So there is this 24 race season at the end of the day, reigning world champions. I think they'll definitely challenge. But yeah, okay. So there's our.
Yeah, I just wanted
Mhm.
a quick addition to what you said.
Mhm.
However, I think that the car may not be the issue for Ferrari, but we have seen that team self-sabotaging so many times. So what I feel like we need to see with Ferrari is, first of all, the team working well with Leclerc, and that is strategy-wise and the whole communication part. And also for Leclerc, I need to see him like locked in, but seriously locked in, and to be like not to make any stupid mistakes, not to do some random stuff and after that be disappointed in himself. I feel like he has to give the best out of himself so that he can get second or first place or whatever. If we don't see that, then it would be another disappointing season for Ferrari because the opportunity was there, but you have to start working as an effective team.
I agree.
Okay, yeah, that's our drivers. Now we can go to the constructors. In 11th place, once again from last to first, I have the new team Cadillac.
Oh, I have Aston Martin.
I also have Cadillac.
Yeah, Aston Martin, I know they're the worst right now by far, but even McLaren Honda, when they were McLaren Honda, they were never finishing last in the championship because they always compensated with things like chassis, and I think, especially with Adrian Newey, I think they'll have chassis, and maybe at tracks like Monaco, they get a good qualifying and they just need to finish the race and they will get some good points. And I think they will develop over time. They will, because Cadillac, it's their first year in the sport. I think this lack of experience, especially in developing the car, will really cost them. They have two experienced drivers, yes, but I think they're lacking behind in what it takes to compete in Formula One at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, fair point. It's just that like Aston Martin's deficit right now is large, and I'm not sure how long it's gonna take them to like catch up to the others. So that's my main concern for them. But moving up to 9th place, wait, for 10th place, do both of you have Aston Martin or
No.
No.
Oh, so
Oh, you don't either. I have
Wow.
Racing Bulls.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
Racing
wow.
Bulls as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I expected Aston Martin.
I think Racing Bulls. I wanted to put them higher actually because they never finished this low, like ever.
Yeah.
But I don't see their development. I really think they have one of the weakest driver lineups, and I think this is a big factor, especially in the
They
midfield.
probably have the weakest line.
I
Yeah.
can say it's the weakest
So
for sure.
I think I think Liam Lawson on his day can get like a P6, P7, P8, but like consistently fighting in those points, I think it's difficult for them when the other drivers I think are much higher caliber. So that's why I have them that low.
And as we mentioned, this fourth engine is still in development, so there may be some issues with reliability or just some tracks that the car is pretty badly suited. So that is why I feel like it won't be like that bad, but I still feel like they will be far away from the points in most of the races.
I have Cadillac in 10th, so I don't need to explain further. You
Okay.
already
Yeah.
said for
Okay.
them.
And
But
for
yeah.
ninth,
For 9th, I have Racing Bulls.
9th, I have Aston Martin.
I have Aston Martin as well. I think we cleared all that, so
Yeah.
we can go to 8th.
8th place, I have Williams.
Interesting. I have Audi.
I have Audi as well.
Okay, I explained briefly, but I think they have a better opportunity developing. I think Williams have a lot of issues they need resolving. The weight is also a big factor. I think they have good drivers, but I just feel like it's total mess there, and like they hyped up this season so much, and the car is nowhere near the front. So I think they have a lot of internal things they need to sort out before they get on pace. And I see the other teams just out-developing them because they have historically been poor at developing their car.
Well, I have only two arguments against this, and this is the first thing: the drivers lineup. Like, I like Bortoleto and Hülkenberg. I think they're like complementary pieces to each other, but still, Sainz and Albon is much better lineup in my opinion. And also the Mercedes engine, even if Williams are not that good and their development is. I feel like that Mercedes engine would give them the needed advantage.
Okay.
I agree with Vasco. Yeah.
I have Audi in 7th.
I have Williams.
I have Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can move on to 6th, I guess.
6th, I have Alpine.
Same for me.
I have Haas actually.
Okay. We can
Mainly,
discuss this,
mainly because
because I have Haas in 5th.
Yeah. Same.
yeah,
for me.
I have Alpine
Yeah.
at fifth, so I'm pretty high on Alpine. Mainly because things have been looking good in preseason testing, and also because I believe that Pierre Gasly would have a really good season that would just put them in 5th. I really like what Haas has done so far, and I definitely think that for drivers lineup, Ocon and Berman are like better because Colapinto is nothing special, but I still think we would see some points, we would see some flashes from Colapinto, and when we combine that with really good performances from Gasly throughout the season, I feel like that would be enough to get that fifth place. And also, once again, the engine, Ferrari, they have developed a great engine, but I'm still much more, let's go with that. I think that Mercedes is much safer choice in in these conditions.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting Alpine in front, but because of I think I'm concerned with Haas's development because they can't really afford to develop their car as much as Alpine, but I just they look really good. They look really good, and I think they're gonna gain a lot of points at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And I think this advantage will be very difficult to overcome in a competitive midfield where I think, especially after the halfway point, all of the teams below them will start getting involved in the points much more regularly as well.
It may become like similar to Williams last year, who gathered like a lot of points.
Although I don't think they'll be at that level because
No.
Williams were even competing with the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll compete with the top 4 teams, but I just think that they will rack up a lot of points.
Especially Oli Berman, I think.
Ollie Behrman,
Yeah.
I think, I'm really high on Ollie Behrman.
I'm really interested to see like the development of Ole Behrman throughout this season because like, it is a season that can secure him a future ticket, even if it is like after a year or
Even though
two in
I feel like
Ferrari.
it's already secured.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see because if he
If he has a bad
if he
season,
has a stinker, I think that there are other
Obviously.
people that would
Yeah.
be glad
For
to
example,
get.
Rafa Kamara, if he enters in 27.
Or
as we
even
said,
like,
yeah.
they could just get Pierre Gasly from
Yeah, exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Or even I don't know, like a guy like to steal Gabi Bortoleto or so something like that.
Carlos.
Imagine.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
options for sure.
Fernando Alonso.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Okay, entering top 4.
Top
The
4.
top 4 is locked in, obviously, because we all know that these are gonna be the top.
Yeah,
four.
I think
Yeah.
we have pretty similar top.
Okay,
fours.
4th place I have Red Bull.
Yeah, I have Red Bull
I
as
have
well.
Red Bull as
Yeah,
well.
I feel like they will be behind
Although
McLaren
last
somehow.
year,
Yeah.
Max Verstappen managed to single-handedly compensate and beat Ferrari by himself.
Yeah.
I think that like this year that will be much tougher to do.
Yeah. Also, Isaac Hadjar will be better than Yuki Tsunoda, I think.
Well, yes, but even with Yuki Tsunoda, they finished 3rd last year. But that
Okay.
is based on Ferrari incompetence, which
Okay,
I
let's say-
assume will be gone this
But
year.
also, let's say McLaren will still like they have 2 really, as
Yeah.
we know, like great drivers.
Also,
so
we discussed the reliability
Yeah, fair,
concerns with
fair.
Red Bull.
Yeah, so I think it is
Yeah.
pretty self-explanatory. So
Okay, so for 3rd you have McLaren or no?
I have McLaren.
Oh,
I have
okay.
McLaren
Same.
as well.
It's weird
But
because they dominated last year, and it's like it feels like there's no reason for them to be like not in the championship fight, but they're just like they are playing second fiddle to Mercedes this year.
yeah, that is the main reason because every time there are new regulations, every time when you're a customer
Yeah.
team, you're putting disadvantage, and I think that they can be up there with Mercedes in let's say 2 seasons, but I think at first it is inevitable for them to be behind Mercedes.
I agree
Mhm.
completely.
But
Okay.
I still feel like and second I feel like both of you have Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like probably the Ferrari and McLaren would be the closest battle at the top. I feel
for
like
sure.
Yeah.
because
I can definitely see McLaren beating Ferrari.
yeah, because and I think the most important factor if we consider that Leclerc would be on top of all 4 drivers, I think the key factor would be Lewis Hamilton, and that is why I'm a bit skeptical for Ferrari second because I feel like Lewis is a bit washed. Sorry for saying it. Like he's one of the greatest to ever do it, but in that competitive, like top of F1 right now, I feel like this season can end up like pretty badly for him.
Yeah.
Could definitely. But I think Ferrari are fine to finish second. I think that maybe even like they could try to challenge Mercedes, although I highly doubt it. But I think that they will be pushing for that first place so much that they should get second. I think not without a problem. I think it will be very close. I think even Red Bull can get involved if Isaac Hadjar performs. So But I just see Ferrari. Ferrari look really good, and they look better than McLaren. So, and they have their own engine, as we discussed. So
that is one
this
of
is
the
a
key
factor.
things.
So, I think Ferrari should be fine for second. In first place, Mercedes.
Yeah, another championship for Mercedes.
yeah,
I
it
guess.
is pretty self-explanatory. This
Yeah.
this one as well, and I think there should be some kind of a generational fumble from Mercedes not to win the constructors this year.
Yeah, and I mean it would end their. They have a 5-year drought,
5-year drought,
currently,
yeah.
which is for them seems like an eternity, but Ferrari fans, that's just like
Just another Wednesday in
just
the
another
office.
Wednesday, yeah. As Ferrari have not had a championship in almost 20 years, but I digress, and they will
Okay.
probably not have one this year as well.
I guess we can move on to the last segment of
Yeah.
this episode, which is firstly our top 3 in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start from David.
Okay. My top 3, it's quite boring actually, but first place George Russell, second place Kimi Antonelli, third place Charles Leclerc. I think Mercedes 1-2 off the bat. Their sandbagging will be exposed in Australia very evidently.
Okay, Vasco.
I have a bit of a different approach. I think that we'll have pretty interesting first race of the season, and I have Kimi Antonelli third, I have George Russell second, and I have Charles Leclerc winning the opening Grand Prix of the season.
He's actually historically good in Australia, but
Yes, that's the thing, and actually Ferrari has been good in Australia. So
minus last year.
we
We don't know.
we
There was-
raise it.
It must have been the water.
Yeah. Okay. I have a different one as well. Third place, homeboy Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
Maybe he'll get his podium there. Second place, Charles Leclerc. First place, George Russell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Okay.
also makes sense, even though for McLaren I'm not really sure.
That sounds about right. Actually,
Yeah.
I forgot the factor of the home race for Oscar
There is
Piastri,
that factor, yeah.
but still I feel like McLaren they still have a lot of things to figure out.
Yeah. Okay. And then bold prediction for the season.
Okay.
What do we have?
Who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay.
Ollie Berman to get at least 2 podiums.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
this is a bold prediction, I think. Yeah.
My prediction was a Haas podium.
Oh wow. So yeah,
I
that's.
swear to God that yours.
Vasco, please tell me that yours is different.
Mine is different, of course.
What is it?
Mine is Pierre Gasly to be on the podium at least twice.
Okay, so
Oh,
similar
and-
to mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there is a high chance that in a chaotic race there can be the Pierre Gasly win throughout this season. Like you have heard it here first as well.
Okay.
But
So we just believe in the midfield teams, I guess. That's our bold predictions.
yes, and especially like my driver of the season, I predicted from now, it would be Pierre Gasly.
Okay. So the glaze is real.
Yeah, the glaze is.
Okay. So I guess we can wrap up with these crazy bold predictions. This is all for today from us. We're looking forward to the next episode. Till then, like, subscribe, and follow us on AUBG Daily on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. And stay tuned for more of our content. Thank you, and remember,
If you no longer go for a gap that exists,
You're no longer a racing driver, and don't follow us on LinkedIn. Just joking. Follow us on LinkedIn as well.